Good morning. Hi everybody. Today is Sunday the 14th of November 2021. Welcome to Little Likac podcast. Oh, I haven't checked what episode number this is. 14, 15, somewhere around that. Anyway, morning, welcome. Yes, I'm recording on Sunday morning today, this weekend, instead of I normally try and record Friday evening or first thing Saturday, but lots of things have happened this weekend, and so it's Sunday morning, and this is the first chance that I've actually been able to sit down and podcast. I did have everything set up and ready to do it yesterday, and then something else happened, and so anyway, so sorry if this is a little bit later than usual. It will probably go up Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, rather than first thing Saturday morning. I'm sure nobody's been sitting there waiting and watching for my podcast to pop up, but if you have, thank you very much. And yeah, so sorry it's a little bit late. So actually, talking of people waiting or watching, thank you so much for my new subscribers. Yay, we have hit 400, which is just a lovely number. So thank you very much. I said last episode that I really wanted to get to 400. I had been at about 390 for a few weeks and things, and we finally ticked over and hit the 400 mark. I think it's 402 this morning, so I will be doing the giveaway. Where did I put that yarn? Yeah, so I will be doing the draw for the Intergalactic yarn later in this podcast. Okay, I've got the comments picker selected all ready to go, and then I will on the actually film on the podcast me picking that winner, so we will be giving that away today, the Intergalactic yarn. So what have I got for you? Well, I haven't even introduced myself, goodness me. Mind you, I am only 2 minutes in. So I'm Amanda. Hello. I'm Amanda. I live in Derby in the UK, which is very much central. Technically it comes under the East Midlands, but if you look on a map, we are really quite central England. I live in Derby with my husband, one of my daughters, my dog, one chicken now, because sadly we lost our eldest chicken about 4 weeks ago. She was 8.5, which is pretty good going for a chicken. So we are down to just one chicken at the moment. So yeah, dog, Stu, who, thank you by the way for the comments about Stu last podcast. I'm back down in the office this morning filming, so that I don't get disturbed by Stu. Bless him. Anyway, oh yes, and talking of pets and things, so yes, I live here with my husband, my daughter, dog named Stu, a chicken, and now in new additions, 2 gerbils. So my daughter used to have gerbils, and she has now moved into the bigger bedroom in the house, as her elder sister has moved out to go to university. So they've kind of swapped bedrooms. So when Eloise comes home, she will have the very small bedroom, and my youngest daughter has gone into the bigger bedroom. And so she said, Mum, I've got room for gerbils again. And so on Friday night, her dad took her down to Pets at Home. And yes, she's got 2 gerbils, Bert and Ernie. So they are the newest additions to our household. Yes, so my eldest daughter is away at uni. We went up and visited her a couple of weeks ago. I told you about that in my last podcast. She's doing great. One of the reasons why it's been a bit difficult trying to find time to podcast this weekend, though, is we are redecorating the bedroom that she's going into. I don't know if you've noticed, I happen to have a unicorn behind me. This is Spike, the unicorn. And Spike is living down here in the office at the moment because Spike came out of Eloise's bedroom when she went off to university. I have a horrible feeling Spike may stay living down here, because I don't know that there's going to be any room for Spike in her new bedroom, because her new bedroom is about that big. It's teeny tiny. Anyway, so we've been decorating the bedroom. So this is a knitting podcast. You might not have realised that because I haven't mentioned knitting yet. This is a knitting podcast, sometimes a little bit of crochet, and I talk about knitting, dyeing. I don't even know where you can find me. I really ought to get back. I used to do show notes and have a little list and tick off, right, introduce yourself. And I stopped doing that, but maybe I should start doing that again. So I'm Amanda. You can find me on YouTube as Little Likac. You can find me on Instagram as Little Likac Yarn. You can find me on Etsy as Little Likac Yarn, because I dye my own yarn and make stitch markers. You can find me on Ravelry as Likac66, and you can email me if you want to at littlelikac@gmail.com. So this morning I have got some finished objects to show you, half finished object, part finished object, whips, a couple of new cast on, one new cast on. I've also got some things that I found in a charity shop to do with knitting that I'm going to show you, which has kind of led to some acquisitions. So what was a bargain didn't stay as a bargain once I started thinking, oh, I like that pattern. Well, anyway, so I will show you those if you're interested. Just having a little look at my basket over here. Yeah, so yeah, on with the show. Right, firstly then, finished objects. I have got 2 proper finished objects to show you and 2 part finished objects. So firstly, let's talk about firstly socks for WMAS. So that is, well, WMAS stands for West Midlands Ambulance Service, and there is a lovely lady, Jeanette, who is collecting as many knitted socks as possible to donate to the ambulance service. Her daughter works with them, and she wanted to, I think she wanted 500 pairs of socks, and I saw on Instagram a few weeks ago that she only had about 150 pairs. So, you know, I'm really hoping, I mean 500 is a lot, but I'm really hoping that more people are sending her socks. So I had finished a pair that I showed you last podcast, the stripy one, orange stripy ones, and I had another pair that I'd cast these on in August and been leaving them in my car, so they were my sort of like waiting room knitting and things like that, or when I was waiting in the car. Well, I took them out of the car after the last podcast and worked on them to get them finished. So these are a large pair of male adult socks. I don't really know what size, probably a size 11 or 12. So they've got quite a long leg and then a long foot. The yarn I used was King Cole zig-zag. And the reason why I used that yarn partly was because I had got 2 balls of it in my stash, 2 100-gram balls, and I thought if I'm going to do a large adult pair, I might need more than one ball. But actually, I don't think I've brought what's left. I still had some left. I think I still got about 10 grams left. So this large pair, really, you know, pair of, I mean, they are just plain vanilla. Took less than 1 100-gram ball, so I've still got a ball of that left. So it's King Cole zig-zag. And you know, I think it's a good sock yarn to use for somebody who just wants to be able to throw them in the washing machine. I've knitted a pair for my daughter's boyfriend in the King Cole zig-zag, and he wears them quite regularly, and I think his mum just throws them in the washing machine, and they look fine. So that's my first finished object. Now that I've shown you these on the podcast, I will be packing the 2 pairs that I've done up and sending them away to Jeanette so she can add them to her collection. Yes, so check her out on Instagram, socks for WMAS, and you can maybe see where she's got to. And if you've got time, if you're a quick knitter and can get a pair of socks knitted in a couple of weeks and get them sent to her by the beginning of December, I know she would love that. So you know, if you can help her out. Okay, so that's my first finished object. They will get posted off. My second finished object is also another pair of socks. These are a pair of socks for the Rainbow Sock Chronicles, but these are my replacement pair that I had to do for June. So the colour for June was turquoise, and if you follow my podcast, then you will know that I was cutting it fine to get my pair finished in June, and I took them out with me to the market where I was had a stand, and I was halfway through the second sock and only had about 3 days left to finish them, and somehow I ended up leaving my project bag and the socks at the market when I packed away, never to be seen again. And it was at a time as well when my father-in-law was very ill, and yeah, it was all a little bit I would say traumatic would be the right word to use, and actually losing the pair of socks was the final straw, and I got quite emotional and quite upset about it. But I decided in August that I would cast on another pair of turquoise socks so that I could add them into the Rainbow Sock Chronicle Rainbow. If you don't know about the Rainbow Sock Chronicles, I mean, I know lots of people do, so I don't want to bore people about it because it's been going on all year, but it is a make-along that's been going on all year, run by Kelly from Lay Family Yarns and Jules from So Sweet Violet podcast. And the idea is that you knit a pair of socks in each colour of the rainbow during the year, and that would take you from January through to September. And then October, November, December, you could choose any colour you like to go within the rainbow. So anyway, so these are my turquoise socks that are the replacement socks for June, and they were like an additional pair that I've been knitting on over the last couple of months. And yes, they are finished now as well. Oh, I don't know why I've still got that stitch marker there, because I'm pretty sure maybe last time I showed them to you I was there on that second sock. Anyway, beautiful pattern. The pattern is Wood Nymph by this Handmade Life. So the pattern where the lace goes down either side. They go down both sides of the leg and then one side of the foot. And then eye partridge heel. They're knitted cuff down, or generally speaking, unless I say otherwise, I knit all my socks cuff down. I think I've only knitted one pair of toe up socks. Didn't really enjoy doing them toe up, so cuff down is my favourite. Heel flap and gusset is my usual heel construction as well that I prefer. So it's a lovely pattern. The yarn, I'm afraid I can't tell you, was a mystery yarn that I had in my stash and no label attached. Couldn't remember where I got it. It's hand dyed. I also couldn't remember it being in my stash for many years. But I'm really, really pleased to have those finished because they are going to go in the box with my other socks for the Rainbow Socks Chronicles, which I'll actually show you. This box, isn't it gorgeous? Kelly and Jules had these boxes made at the beginning of the year as well, and I was really pleased to snag one. So here is my box of socks that I've knitted through the year so far. So these are going to go, they'll go in here between my green and blue pair. The turquoise will go in there, nice and bright. And then, so yeah, these were January, February, March. These were my October socks, so these were an extra pair that go in there. So it goes January, February, March, April, May. My turquoise one, June, will go in there. July, August, September. These are October, and I'll show you November socks in a minute. So some of these haven't been worn. I have worn those once or twice. I think I've worn those once or twice. I've worn those once or twice. These, I think these got worn once, but some of them haven't been worn at all. We're kind of saving them till they're all done. That was the idea. So yes, so those are going to get added in with the rest of them. I've got a lovely box of socks. But I am beginning, I think I mentioned this last podcast, I am beginning to feel a bit socked out, and I've still got quite a few pairs. I've still got November and December sock chronicles to do, and I've still got a pair of socks that somebody's asked for Christmas, and I've got my Strictly socks that I'm working on, which I'll show you in a minute, and another pair of Christmas socks that I really, really, really want to do, because a friend of mine has released a lovely pattern. So I've still got 4.5 pairs of socks to knit before the end of the year. And how long have I got? 7 weeks? So, but that leads me to the to some of my part finished objects. So I've been doing a memory blanket. So this is the turquoise yarn for those rainbow socks. The square for my memory blanket. Did that straight away, and I've only got 2 squares left to do for this. And then for my November socks, I decided to knit the square first because I wanted to see how the yarn would come out. Let me show you the yarn, and I wanted to see how it would knit up before deciding what pattern I was going to use for the socks. So after I caked the yarn, and this yarn is just beautiful, and it's from Dye Candy. I think the colourway is Seek and Destroy. So I wasn't sure how it was going to knit up, whether it was going to come out particularly blue, particularly purple. So I thought I'll do the square to see how it comes out, and then I started to do a textured pattern, but I didn't like it. I didn't think it showed the yarn particularly well, and I didn't think it showed the pattern particularly well. So then I thought, speed, Amanda, you've got to get through these socks quite quickly. So just do a vanilla sock. So, and actually the yarn is so lovely that I think I'm actually quite pleased with that. I think it doesn't need any pattern. Doesn't need any pattern. I think a lot of patterns would get lost. So I mean, maybe you could have done like a lace panel. But as I say, I've got to get through a lot of pairs of socks quite quickly. So vanilla is probably the way to go. Because I did start a pattern. Normally, if I'm just doing my own vanilla sock, I'll normally do 2x2 rib because it's quicker. But because I had started using a specific pattern, and it was 1x1 rib for that pattern, I thought, oh, okay, I'll do 1x1 rib. So I've done 1x1 rib, about 15 rows, and then we're just into stocking stitch. I think I might do maybe 1 more centimetre on the leg before I'll start the heel flap for that sock. So that will be my November sock for the Rainbow Sock Chronicles. And that, as you can see, goes really nicely with the blue and purple. It will go in my rainbow between the blue and purple. And I'm having a big debate in my head as to what colour to do for December. So when I'll show you my box again of socks. I was doing a lot of debate thinking, oh, maybe I should do another green. So, because I thought I haven't, maybe a green to go between the green and the turquoise would be a good idea. And so I kept saying, yeah, I'll do a green pair of socks, I'll do a green pair of socks. And I've sort of got some yarn that I could use for that. But I'm going to be honest, I kept thinking, I'm not sure I love the idea of a green pair of socks. So I've come back to, you're supposed to start with pink, and these socks I did as a mixture stripe and pink, and I thought, well, I could do a plain pink which would go right at the top. And then I've been looking for a bit of an excuse to use this yarn anyway, because I absolutely love this. This is Little Likac mine in rose gold. So I think I'm actually going to use that for December. So I'm going to pop that in that box now. So that's going to be my December colour. Because I'd rather knit a pair of socks in a yarn that I love and a colour that I love, rather than forcing myself to knit them in green, where especially if I'm feeling a bit socked out, I might lose the motivation. So I'm going to knit it in the rose gold pink. So yes, so those are all my sort of finished objects. Oh, I've got a half finished object to show you as well. Oh, before I do that, I haven't done what I'm wearing. So maybe I really should do show notes. Are you bothered though? Are you bothered about everything being in a perfect order? Or does it matter if I just wing it? I mean, that's how I live a lot of my life. I just wing it. I'm going to talk about what I'm wearing, and then I'll show you my half finished objects. I'll put that there to remind me. So, what am I wearing? This, I'm going to be honest and say, this jumper or sweater, I absolutely love this. Absolutely love it. This was a pattern that came in a knitting magazine about 10 years ago, and I loved the whole vibe of the pattern. I should have brought the, I don't know where the pattern is actually, but the pattern, it showed this woman wearing this jumper in a very similar colour in grey, and she was sort of sitting, it had like a log fire in the background, and she was sitting there holding a mug of tea or coffee, and it just looked warm and cosy, and I just like, I love the look of that jumper and the whole vibe from the pattern picture. But I kept thinking, oh, but you know, you've got to have the perfect yarn for that, and it's got to be beautiful, and oh, it's going to take so long to do. And I kept putting it off and putting it off, and so literally 10 years. And last September of 2020, I decided to join in with a couple of make-alongs, one of which was a fall garment make-along, and I think another one was something about like knit what you love, or you know, sort of like dream knitting, something along those lines. The idea of knitting something that you know you really, really wanted to knit. And I thought, I'm going to do that sweater. And I looked at my stash, and I'd got 10 balls of this yarn, which was a Rowan cashmere silk cashmere yarn, and I thought in theory I've got enough to do it. Checked out all the meterage, and I thought in theory I've got enough, but I did start to get a bit nervous about the right yarn. And the pattern is by Martin Storey, who is a designer for Rowan, and I really like a lot of Rowan patterns, and I like Martin Storey. I like a lot of the Rowan designers: Martin Storey, Sarah Hatton, Marie Wallin. They are three designers that they kind of catch my eye. I often see designs on Ravelry or in magazines, go, oh, I like that, and it's often one of those three designers. Marie Wallin does amazing colour work, and Sarah Hatton does amazing cables, and Martin Storey just does beautiful patterns. So yes, so I had fallen in love with this, and last autumn decided to knit it. It did take me 3 or 4 months, because it was not a quick knit. And this lace pattern, I think it was when I finally was doing the last sleeve that finally the lace pattern actually became, what's the word I want? Great, I'm an English teacher and I can't think of the right word. But it wasn't until really the last sleeve where it became more, ingrained, you know what I mean anyway. Up until then I was having to check every row, so it was not TV knitting, it was like, it was sit down and focus. And as I just said, I am an English teacher, and there are some times of the year when not only is it very, very busy at work, I'm got a lot of marking to do, and I come home and I'm really quite tired in the evenings, and when I'm going through those phases, then I need simple quick knitting or mindless knitting, which is where socks can be handy. And this obviously wasn't mindless knitting, so I think I finished it in January. I think it took about 4 months, but I absolutely love it. So it's got this beautiful sort of picot neckline. It's not even quite picot. It was kind of like a knit-on edging, if I recall rightly. It's got this beautiful lace all over. Look at the sleeves. This is one of the things that attracted me to the pattern. I love the cuffs on here, and this is also repeated at the bottom of the sweater. So I'm going to stand up. I just love everything about this sweater. So here we are. You can see it's also, and it's all the same on the back as well. So it's an absolutely gorgeous pattern. So it is, the sweater pattern is called Harmony. It is linked on my Ravelry page. I will try on the show notes to link to my project page on Ravelry. I don't know if the pattern is available separately. I think you can get it in obviously I got it in a magazine, and I think you can get it in a collection of Rowan patterns, like a Rowan pattern book. I'm not sure if it's available separately, but I absolutely love the sweater. And I say, so yeah, I was worried as well then that I wasn't going to have quite enough yarn, that typical thing. So I then started searching, because the yarn was old stash as well and discontinued, and I'd bought a full pack of 10 balls from someone like John Lewis in their sale. So I searched Ravelry and found 2 women in the UK who had got a couple of balls of this yarn in the right colourway, but not necessarily the right dye lot. And I contacted them both, and one of them didn't know where it was, and the other lady said, yes, I think I've still got that, I'll find it for you. Yes, no problem. She's got a ball and a half left. And she didn't even charge me, she just charged me the postage. She actually sent them to me for free and just charged me the postage, which was lovely. The knitting community is so good. And when it came, it was a different dye lot, and you could see there was quite a difference. So then I hadn't started the sleeves, and I thought, well, what do I do? And there was part of me thinking, well, I could maybe knit the cuffs in that different dye lot, because that might then almost look as if it was supposed to be very slightly different. and I was constantly wet, and then I thought, right, okay, I knitted one sleeve and weighed what I'd got left, and I just about, so I've actually got this ball and a half that I didn't actually need. I've still got that left. But yes, so that was a classic kind of yarn chicken, and I had tiny amount left, you know, like literally a couple of grams. But yeah, so yes, absolutely love this sweater, and it's just so soft. So I mean, it is pilling a little bit, but if you can see, yeah, it's pilling a little bit where it rubs under the arms, and but oh, it's just beautiful. Just love it. Absolutely, it's so soft, so warm. Okay, so that's what I'm wearing. Right, so I was going to show you my half finished object. So my half, I'm going to just need to take this off, I haven't got spares. So my half finished object, as you might have guessed, is another sock. And this one is for the Strictly Sock Along. So Strictly Come Dancing, if you live in the UK, you will know what Strictly Come Dancing is, even if you don't watch it. And if you live abroad, it is our version of Dancing with the Stars. I love Strictly. I watch it every year, and I normally watch the It Takes Two little mini programme in the week as well, as much as possible. And this is my second, so I'm joining in on the Strictly Sock Along, and this is my second pair of socks. So you knit just while you're, the idea is, in theory, you only knit these socks while you are watching Strictly, or something to do with Strictly, or, but you know, so that's also if you can find any link to Strictly. But I am pretty much only knitting these when I'm watching Strictly. So the this is my this is my half finished object for my Strictly second Strictly socks. I'm knitting these with my own yarn, the Do It Your Elf sock set, just to have a silly fun pair of socks to wear for Christmas. Partly actually I was kind of testing the yarn kit. I wanted to see, you know, but also just to have a fun silly pair of socks for Christmas. So I've got one of these finished. So this is when I'm talking about having 4.5 pairs left to do. The other one of these is the other half. So that's my second pair of Strictly socks. So yeah, the yarn is my luxury yarn, so it's 85% merino. It's really, really soft. And I am striping it myself, hence the reason why you've got a little bit of a jog down there. My theory is I will wear the socks so that's on the inside of the leg, and then when I went to the heel, I did it so that it's joined on the bottom of the foot, so you won't see it. And then I just did 10 rows of ribbing because I wanted to get the cuffs, heels and toes out of the 20 gram. And so to do all 3 out of 20 grams, I've just done 10 rows. And when I've weighed what I've got left, and out of my 20 gram mini, I think I'd still got, I think it was 12 grams. So I've got plenty to do the second sock. I might have been able to do a little bit longer ribbing. So yeah, so that's a 64 stitch vanilla pattern, just the slip stitch heel, 10 rows. And they are coming on really well. They're big, they are good fun, and I think I might wear those at work when we have like our Christmas jumper day and stuff. I think I might wear those as well as a bit of fun. So they might do it your elf socks, Strictly socks. Right, I think those are all my finished objects that I have got for you. And I've shown you my November Chronicles. So whips, I have got my colour block jumper that I've mentioned before. I have done a little bit on that the last couple of weeks, but not very much, so I haven't brought that down to show you today. The jumper that I've worked on the most is the Time Will Tell jumper that I've shown you before, and I'm really pleased with how that's coming along. So this project bag is from Clara Rose. I think I've still got the tag on it. Clara Rose Crafts. I must admit my jumper's getting so big, I think I'm going to have to put it into a bigger bag now though. So I've finished the body on this. Finished the ribbing on it last night actually. I absolutely love this, it's so much fun. So you can see that's where I got to last time I showed you this 2 weeks ago. So I've done all of this body, some more colour work and some ribbing. So this is the Time Wool Tell pattern, which I absolutely adore. And on the pattern it hasn't got this extra set of colour work, but because I'd got some of the purple left, I decided to do an extra band of the flowers at the bottom. I've also done an extra centimetre of rib as well, because I'm relatively tall, although I'm tall, I wouldn't say I've got a particularly long body, but I certainly haven't got a short body. So I've just done an extra centimetre of the rib. I think it was said to do 4 centimetres, so I think I've got about an extra centimetre before the rib and then an extra centimetre of rib, so I've added about 2 centimetres of length to it. So yeah, we started on the sleeves next. Now I have still got some of the purple left. Yeah, and I think I've got enough to do another set of flowers, perhaps around the cuff before the ribbing on the sleeves. So depending on the number of stitches in the sleeves, if that's going to work out, because the pattern goes over 12 stitches, if that's going to work out that I can sort of fudge the number of stitches left on the cuff to be a multiple of 12, then I think I am going to do another set of flowers and perhaps these lines again around the edge of the sleeves, just so that really I use as much of the purple wool as I can. So I absolutely love this. I'm so pleased with it. So that's the only other than the sort of the socks and blanket squares, this has been my other main knitting. The colour block jumper I don't think is going to get a look in before Christmas now, because I would love to have this finished before Christmas, although technically it's not a Christmas sweater, because it's got that Scandinavian style. I think it's just going to be lovely to wear it over the Christmas period, so really want to get that finished before Christmas. The yarn I'm using for that, the cream, the pattern calls for Aran weight, but this cream is actually technically a worsted weight, Plymouth Encore, 75% acrylic, 25% wool, but it is knitted up at pretty much the same gauge as Aran. And then the purple is a King Cole Merino blend, Aran. So that's the anti-tickle Merino blend Aran. I don't know what percentage of Merino it is. It's 100% wool. I don't know what percentage is Merino, but it is very soft. So, and as I say, I've got that much purple left, so that'll definitely be enough to do the flowers around the cuffs if I can work it out. I really hope I can. So yeah, so that's going to have to go into a bigger project bag, but so pleased with it. Such a lovely sweater, and I cannot wait to, it needs blocking, definitely needs blocking. Look at the sheep, it just, oh, makes me happy every time. I know you guys understand that. So that is the majority of, well, that is all that I've been working on in the last 2 weeks that I've seen you really. But yes, I was going to tell you about the Christmas socks, other pair of Christmas socks that I really want to knit. So if you follow the podcast, I went to a yarn show about 4 weeks ago and bought a sock set. I've taken the minis out of it actually. Bought this lovely sock set from Ducky Darlings. The lovely Hayley from Ducky Darlings was there at the show, and it comes with these 2 minis, 2 20-gram minis actually, so that's brilliant, 140 grams. And and I really wanted to do a pattern, so I'm just thinking how I can show you this. I'll put a picture of it up properly. But a podcaster that I think now I could probably call her my friend as well, Angela, because I've been doing a Zoom knit group with her Zoom knit group for a few months now. So she's a lovely lady called Angela, and her podcast is called Knitting on the Farm, and it's just a really nice gentle podcast where she talks obviously about her knitting, her life living on the farm, a dairy farm. And yeah, she's in Northern Ireland, and she's just got a lovely way about her. Anyway, she has released her first pattern, and it's a lovely colourwork sock pattern with a set of like Christmas trees round the top of the leg, and I really do want to knit those socks. I just think it's a really sweet pattern, really sweet idea for Christmas. So yeah, so and she's going to be doing it as a bit of a knit along as well through December. She has released the pattern already. I must admit, I was one of the ones saying to her, yeah, come on, get it released, but I haven't cast on yet, but I will be casting that on. So I was planning on using these and thinking of doing the Christmas trees in the red, but I wasn't 100% sold about the trees in red. I don't know why. And then I remembered I had also got in my stash this beautiful sparkly sock mini. I think this might have been from Snuggly Stars yarn. I've lost the label. I don't know if it had a label actually. Anyway, I think it came from Snuggly Stars, and you can see it's sparkly, and this yarn is sparkly as well. So my plan is to do the top, or maybe the whole of the ribbing in the red, have this as the background colour, this for the trees. There's a tiny little bit of brown for the trunks of the trees, and then I might do the heels in this brown as well, and then the toes again in the red. So the plan, yeah, cuffs and toes in red, trees in the green, trunks and heels in the brown, and the rest of it in this colourway. And this colourway is actually called Autumn Berries. And it has got stellina in it as well, so it's sparkly as well. So that's another one of my 4 pairs of socks I want to knit. And obviously again, I really need to try and get those knitted at least sort of like by the week before Christmas, so that I can enjoy wearing them over the Christmas period. So, and I have this Christmas, I've been using this Christmas bag for my blanket squares, but I'm actually going to swap that into a different bag so that I can put this lovely Christmas set, because also look, the colours go really well. Isn't that gorgeous? You see the Christmas mice. I think this was from Duckpool Lane on Etsy. So this Christmas set is going to go into this bag. Oh, look. I love it when you get sort of like the contrasting but matching lining. So beautiful. Yeah, so I think that, and then yeah, the other pair of socks that I've got to start is my daughter's boyfriend's socks. So, but they'll just be plain vanilla, but they will be bigger size. They will have to be 72 stitch count vanilla socks. Right, so let's do the giveaway next, and then I'll show you the pattern books and things that I bought in the charity shop. So I'm going to do the giveaway now. So the giveaway is to celebrate the fact that we are now at 400 subscribers. So thank you so much if you have subscribed to my YouTube channel. Thank you for everybody who puts any kind of comments, contacts me. It's just so lovely. I do try to reply to as many as I can. And it's just lovely. It's so nice when you get any kind of comment. And obviously last time as well, my dog was being helpful. So lots of you commented about my dog, Stu. Thank you very much. Yeah, he's great fun, really. He's a lovely dog. He's been a bit, he's not old, he's only 6, but the last few weeks we've noticed that when he gets up, after he's been lying down for a little while, his back legs have been quite sore, so we had to take him to the vet. and they've just given him some general painkillers and told us not to walk him for a couple of weeks. Now, for a lot of dogs, they would go crazy if they didn't go out for a walk, even for a day or so. Not our dog. He is very lazy. He's not bothered about the fact that he's not been for a walk for over a week. I suspect when we can take him out for a walk again, he's actually going to be like, what? We're doing this again? He's really not bothered about going for a walk. But anyway, he does seem to be improving. His back legs don't seem to be so sore. So obviously the painkillers are helping. He stops taking the painkillers in a couple of days, but then he's still got another week where he can't go out for a walk. So we'll see how his back legs are, bless him. But he's just such a sweetie. Anyway, so about nearly 40 people, I think, left a comment on that podcast. Okay, so have been entered for the draw to give you away this yarn. This is the Intergalactic luxury sock yarn from myself. I have got, you can see I use a website called YouTube, a random comment picker. It's really easy to use, so I've put in the link to that YouTube video. I've already got the comments, so now I'm just going to press start. And our winner, let's get rid of that advert. And there is our winner. Okay, Evelyn Merkens. And I'll be sending this to the USA. She wrote, your sheep sweater looks great. I live in California, really enjoy your podcast. Your yarn colour's very pretty. I have 2 dogs, so I'm used to unplanned noises from them. So thank you very much, Evelyn. If you get in touch with me and give me your address, I will be posting that yarn off to you in California. And hopefully, excuse me, hopefully you will get that before Christmas. So get in touch with me. You can message me if you send me an email, littlelikac@gmail.com, or send me a message on Instagram or even on Ravelry, whichever way is easiest for you, and I will be sending that off to you. Thank you very much for joining in, and thank you to everybody who left a comment. As I say, do you know what, if you watch podcasts, I watch podcasts, a lot of podcasts on the TV, which means it's not always easy to leave a comment, but leaving a comment on a YouTuber's podcast, it's just so nice to know that people are watching and are actively engaging. So, you know, if you get a chance to leave comments on your favourite podcasts, I know the podcasters would really appreciate it. Right, so last week I went to Parkrun last Saturday. I think I mentioned before that I used to do a lot of running and my running mojo kind of disappeared, and I've done quite well. I did 3 runs in a row the week before last, and I went out again last week on the Monday, and then again I'd planned to run on Wednesday and it didn't happen. Thursday something else happened, and so I've not got back out there. Planned to go to Parkrun yesterday, but going to be honest, I had a little bit of a headache from a few glasses of wine I'd had on Friday night, so that didn't happen. I've got to go for a run this afternoon. It will be this afternoon, it can't be this morning. I'll explain why in a minute. So there you go. Hold me to account, guys. Check in with me. Have I been for a run on this Sunday? Okay, hold me to account. I need to go for a run this afternoon. Anyway, last weekend I went to Parkrun at a place called Woollerton Park in Nottingham. Beautiful park. They have lots of deer actually living in the park. And on the way back from there, there's a lovely little parade of shops which has got 2 or 3 charity shops. And I love charity shops. I love finding bargains for clothes in charity shops. I always check out any possible craft supplies, knitting supplies in charity shops as well. And I walked past this one last week, and they had actually got in the doorway a basket of knitting magazines and knitting patterns. I was like, okay, let's just go in here and have a little look. And I think it was 20p for a pattern and £1 for the magazine. So I had a little looky and picked up a couple of patterns. I picked up this one, I thought that might be quite a nice smart pattern cardigan for me to wear at work, because sometimes it's you know, I am a teacher, and in the UK teachers do dress quite formally. We don't wear like jeans, because the students wear uniforms, and so the teachers, you know, we wear smart clothes. We wear when I used to be a head of year, and I used to be a head of English. I used to wear suits to work. I would wear, you know, a blazer and trousers and smart shirts. Now I don't do. I'm not as like high up on the management. I can sort of step back down from some of that. So I wear a lot of dresses, and like a nice cardigan quite often, or again a jacket or blazer. I wear a lot of dresses. But I thought that was quite a smart looking cardigan actually. So don't know when, or it's just like a nice pattern to have in my stash of patterns, and at some point perhaps just plain double knitting. And I have got, oh no, it's not double knitting, it's 4-ply. So I don't know actually what I've got stash wise. But anyway, so yeah, I thought that might make a smart school cardigan. And then I say I like cardigans as well. I also thought that would be a nice summer weight cardigan, possibly for school. So I've got those two single patterns. I picked this up. I can't remember if they charged me for this as a magazine or a pattern. So I Serda Sublime children's patterns. I was drawn to this actually. I thought this was kind of cute. I don't have, you know, my own children are adults now, but sometimes I do have children to knit for. My niece has a little girl. This is, look at that lovely cable cardigan. My niece has a little girl, although I think most of these start from about the age of 4. Although by the time I get around to knitting something else for her, she'll probably be close to that age. But where's the cute little hat, the colourwork hat? So anyway, again, for sake of 50p or whatever, which it was, thought it would be useful to have. And then I just grabbed these magazines. I didn't really necessarily even look what was inside of them. This was it's got Christmas designs, and this is Simply Knitting from 2015. But I thought, okay, there's bound to be I've got a poncho in there. So I picked that one up. Picked this one up because I was drawn to the stripes on that. I'm a sucker for stripes. Interesting looking pair of socks there actually. So I'm trying to see what else is in here. Yeah, I do like that cardigan, that stripy cardigan. My elder daughter might like that actually. Picked this one up because again actually I sort of thought, oh, that looks like it might be quite pretty. Don't know if I've looked in this one properly yet actually. Can't see many patterns at all. Oh, look at that actually, that's cute. Oh, they've got all the patterns at the front. So yeah, that's that cardigan, quite like that. Again, that one maybe for a work cardigan. I think I'd want to put a bit more shaping in it, that's a bit square. And then the other one that I do love colourwork designs, even though I don't knit that many. Look at that. I mean, and it's V-neck colourwork, and you don't see many V-neck colourwork designs so often. Just beautiful. But actually, also when I was flicking through this one, I saw there's a few things in here that I like. Right, so where is it? I saw this like tartan wrap, and I have been wanting to have a go at knitting something in like a tartan pattern for ages. I see sort of tartan stuff and argyle type stuff, and I've been wanting to have a go at knitting something which has got a tartan style. So that wrap is just lovely. I really, really like it. And it's knitted in pink, black and green in Debbie Bliss Aran tweed. Now I have some Debbie Bliss Aran tweed in my stash, and I've got it in purple. Well, there's a surprise, a dark purple. And I think I showed it on a podcast a couple of months ago that some of the balls have got quite a few knots in and things, and I wasn't really sure what to knit with it. But so when I saw this pattern, I thought, perfect, but I need two other colours to go with it. And so again, I went on to Ravelry because it's discontinued. Went to Ravelry, found somebody who was selling some of the pink in her stash, so I got in touch with her and she has posted that to me. It's not arrived yet. So my idea is where they've done purple, pink, I will be using purple. And where they've got green, I will use the bright pink. And then I found on Lovecraft still had some of it, even though it's discontinued. So I've ordered, I think it's charcoal, very dark grey or black. So that's not arrived yet either. So after Christmas, when I've finished all the socks, I think that's going to be one of the things that I'm going to cast on after Christmas and do a big snuggly tartan in black, purple, black and bright pink. And we'll do that sort of tartan effect. So I'm looking forward to that. And I think it won't be mindless, but I think it will be relatively, I think it will be stocking stitch. It'll just be the colour stuff to keep an eye on. So yeah, so I think it cost me like £5 for all of those magazines and patterns. And really pleased with those, because sometimes as well they just give you ideas and inspiration, don't they? Right, so what else to tell you? So yeah, just do a little talk to you a little bit about what's going on here and life and things. Have got a major thing happening this week that I haven't really mentioned before. So, well, it's not partly because I didn't know that this was going to be happening this week. I will hopefully have some knitting time this week because my younger daughter is actually going to be going into hospital for a few days this week. And I'm lucky, or we are lucky, that even with the COVID restrictions, they have said that I can go in with her and that I can stay with her even though she's 16, because I did say to the nurse, well, you know, she's 16, so, because I know normally in any children's ward you can stay over. And I said, well, she is 16. And they said, it doesn't matter, you can still stay over with her. And I sort of said, well, you know, are you okay with that? COVID restriction? And they went, no, absolutely, you can stay over. It is not, in fact, we encourage you to stay over. So, so yeah, I will be going with her. So today is Sunday. We've got to go down to the hospital today. She's got to have COVID test, MRSA swab. I don't know if I need to have a COVID test as well, if I'm going to be staying in with her, so I'll ask about that when I'm there. So we go to the hospital today. The hospital she's got to go to, because it's quite a specialist procedure that she's having. The hospital is about an hour's drive away, and we've not been to this specific hospital either because basically it's a procedure on her heart, and we used to go to Glenfield Hospital for that, which is in Leicester, and that's where the specialist heart unit is for the East Midlands area. Because of COVID, the last few appointments she's had have just been over the phone, or we've had appointments at Derby Hospital, and in the time since we last went down to the one at Leicester, they've actually moved the heart ward into the Leicester main hospital. So we haven't been there before, so we go down there this morning, and we'll check it out and everything, and then we're there for a few days this week. And I'm planning on taking probably sock knitting. Well, it will be. I'm not going to take the jumper with me, so I'll take a couple of pairs of socks to work on while we're there. And hopefully that will help distract me. I'm also going to take my running gear because I haven't decided exactly yet, but it's possible when she's actually having the procedure I might go out for a run, just so that I'm not sitting waiting. I might just go out for a run at that time. So yeah, it is it's a standard procedure as they describe it for the condition that she's got. But I think when it's your own child, it doesn't feel standard, does it? But yeah, it is low risk. I know it's low risk. They wouldn't do it if it wasn't. It is low risk, and we'll just be at the hospital for a few days, and she'll be back at college the following week. So yeah, so we go and get the COVID test today. She will stay off college tomorrow. I will go into school, but I'm going to really try and stay away from everybody and sort of shield myself as much as possible. I'm going to wear a mask as much as possible and just really try minimise any chance of me taking anything nasty in. And then yeah, and say she should be back at college the following week, if everything goes to plan, which I'm sure it will. So yeah, if I'm going to be honest and say I am a bit, not scared, scared's not the right word, but you know, feeling a bit emotional about it if I think about it too much. So if you are somebody who believes in prayer and things like that and want to send a few prayers up for us, or you know, good vibes our way, etc., I would appreciate that. Or if you just be thinking of us this week, as I say, it will be fine. I know it will be fine, but you can't help but feel a little bit nervous when it's your own daughter. So yeah, so that's happening this week. That's the big thing. But I'm just looking. Well, we said, well, it was a girly weekend. We bought matching pajamas. My daughter and I, we went and bought matching pajamas, and I'm just going to use it as an opportunity to catch up with some knitting. I could take marking, but I think I'll be too distracted to mark. I don't actually, because I did say that originally to my head of department. I said, oh, because the year 11s are going to be doing mocks this week. I was like, oh, I'll take my mock papers, but I don't think I will, because I just don't think my brain will be in the right place to do that. So knitting it is. Good old vanilla socks probably will be the best thing to be working on. Nothing with anything too complicated, but yeah. Right, so that's, I think that is everything. I'm going to have a look around. Oh, actually, the other thing I was going to mention is thank you so much to my swap partners. So we were doing the Advent mini skein swap, and thank you so much for my swap partners. I've had a lovely parcel arrive from America from Karen. So thank you, Karen, for your parcel. And Joy as well, her parcel has arrived. Thank you so much, Joy. I've sent my parcels out to Joy, Karen and Siobhan, so thank you. I'm going to have, I think actually I'm going to have more than 24 to open, because I did a couple of swaps open in the well, I'm definitely more than 24. So I don't know yet whether to start early. I might start a week early and start opening them a week before the beginning of December, or whether to keep going and open all the way through December up until like the 31st. I'll see how many I've got and decide how I'm going to do them. Open the Advent calendars. So that's really exciting, so thank you. Oh, and talking of saying, like, almost like shout outs, I can't believe I kept forgetting to say this. When I went to Bakewell Wool Show a couple of weeks ago, about 4 weeks ago, I did, a lady came over to me and said, oh, it's Amanda, isn't it? And she recognised me from the podcast, and that was Jo. And I'm so sorry, Jo, that I haven't said hello to you. I've been meaning to, because it was really lovely to meet you. And we were at Truly Hooked, and then I felt a bit bad as well, because the lady from Truly Hooked just came over to talk, and I kind of just started talking to her, and then I felt really bad that I didn't really say goodbye to Jo properly. So Jo, if you're still watching, it was really lovely to meet you, and I'm so glad that you came over and said hello as well. It was really lovely, so thank you for that. And because I think that we follow each other on Instagram as well, so thank you for saying hello. It was really lovely to meet you. And that's it from me this month, or this week, this fortnight. I will see you again in 2 weeks. You know, check out my Instagram and follow me on Instagram if you want to see what's going on over the next couple of weeks. If you don't already subscribe to the channel, but you've enjoyed the podcast today, please you know, subscribe, and even press the little bell if you want to be notified when my next podcast come up. Hopefully it will be in 2 weeks, and hopefully I'll be back to my usual schedule of filming on the Friday and getting the podcast up first thing on Saturday morning. In the meantime, have a lovely couple of weeks knitting and crocheting and enjoying all the yarny goodness, and I will see you again in a couple of weeks. Bye.